Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Talk Spicy. I'm Coach Gene Clemens. Thank you for joining me wherever you are joining me. Rate the show, comment, agree, disagree, but whatever you do, keep it spicy. 5-star ratings are appreciated. If you're joining me on the YouTube channel, like, subscribe, do all of that good stuff that you do. You know, when you're trying to keep your boy on the up and up. I appreciate everything for sure. Also, make sure CWN Sports today, my gene therapy podcast and my gene therapy column drop today on CWN Sports. So make sure that you check that out every Friday, CWN Sports, for the gene therapy podcast and the gene therapy column. This week on the podcast, I am joined by Malik Spann of Blitz Magazine and Chris James of Football Game Plan and his podcast, Chopping It Up with CJ. We talk about the dearth of Black coaches and exactly what can be done or why we've ended up in this situation and what can be done to try to rectify the situation. So it's definitely spicy. Malik was throwing grenades for sure, and obviously, you know, I've never been afraid to hold anything back. So make sure you check out that Gene Therapy podcast that is exclusively on CWN Sports, and I appreciate that partnership. It's interesting. There was a thing going around talking about the transfer portal, and I believe it said that there were over 400 players from the FBS and FCS combined in the transfer portal. And, you know, it always gets you to thinking like, wow, you know, 400 players, it sounds like a lot. And it is a lot. 400 players is a lot. I think that last year someone said there were 1,000 players in the transfer portal last year. I want to, before I start this, I want people to understand just what we're dealing with on a regular basis. There are over 100 FBS programs, and there are over 100 FCS programs. And each year, those teams have 10 or more scholarships available to be able to give out. Usually works out that a scholarship class for most football teams, especially at the FBS level, tends to be somewhere around 15. FCS level might be different. If you're talking about full scholarships, might be like 10 per class, which means there are well over, by the way, not even close, well over 2,000 scholarships available. So if 1,000 kids enter the transfer portal, that means there are 1,000 more scholarships available, right? That's how it works. See, here's the problem though, right? Here's where it gets dicey. Because within the transfer portal, what we know happens is that the idea behind a young man deciding that he no longer wants to be at one school and he wants to go to another school to pursue his athletic dreams, and we know that one scholarship is now open and there's another scholarship available somewhere else, is that school that he goes to may not have been looking originally for a transfer. They may have been looking at a college student. At a high school student. And so now they're no longer looking for that high school student. Now they're like, hey, if I get the option of going to if I get the option of going to get a 17 or 18-year-old kid versus going to grab a 20, 21, 22, 23-year-old man, hey, which one are we going to do? At the end of the day, we know that these guys, their jobs are on the line. So they can't just look to mentor young men. They can't just look to develop talent. They have to be about the business of winning football games, because they know that if they don't win football games, they're not going to have a job. And then they're not going to be able to feed their family, so on and so forth. Like, unfortunately, we're at a point, right? We're at a point in the world where if we don't do our jobs as coaches, we get fired. But we think our jobs as coaches, we think that our job is to mentor and develop. And everybody else thinks our job is to win football games. They just say things like, oh, well, you're here to mentor and develop. Well, if I'm here to mentor and develop, then why are you firing me if we don't win enough games? Because I'm here to win games. It's the bottom line. That is the bottom line. If you think for a second that a football coach isn't in place to win games, then you clearly have missed the boat. Clearly. Right? Right? Yes? No? Okay, I won't hold you. If you don't believe that the football coach's number one job today is to win football games, then you have not been paying attention. Not only is the football coach's job to win games, but it's not even just to win enough games. The football coach's job today is to win games at a level that brings positive light to the school. And you can't do that going 5-5. You can't do that going 6-4, 7-3, 8-4. You do that by winning championships, conference championships, national championships, big time bowl games. That's how you do it. And so these men are looking at these 1,000 people, these 1,000 young men that end up in the transfer portal, and they are saying, hey, I need a running back. I know that he can play running back at this level because I've seen him do it. I think this high school kid can play running back at this level, but I don't know for certain. Am I willing to risk my job and my livelihood and the livelihood of all of these other men who work underneath me for what I think or what I know? We're no longer in the rebuild business. We are in the win now business. The rebuild business has gone the way of the dinosaur. The rebuild business has gone the way of the dinosaur. If you're rebuilding a program, then you are at a program that you are most likely going to get told, we no longer need your services, before you're ever able to see the rebuild to fruition. If you think about what's going on in the football landscape, high school kids are getting caught in the crossfire. See, this is something that the junior college kid has had to deal with for their entire life. See, in junior college, they come to school and they realize that when they're about to go to a four-year university, they're at a disadvantage. They only have a couple years to play. Yes, they've proven that they can play, but then they've got these other young men who have come along who have more years to play. See, the thing about it is with the junior college, many of these Division I coaches go, well, what's the talent? What's the discipline level? What were they doing? Now in the new transfer portal, when Alabama goes and looks to see who's in the transfer portal, and they see offensive linemen from Florida and Florida State and Auburn and South Carolina and Clemson and Texas A&M, they can go to their own film and look and see what these young men can do. They can pinpoint exactly the traits that they need for that season, while they then go and recruit the top level high school kids. But what about the programs who aren't top level? What about those coaches who are just trying to keep their job? What about those coaches who desperately need to win 7, 8, and 9 games to try to keep their job? They can't afford to take those opportunities, to take those chances on high school kids. They don't know what kind of program you came from. They don't know what type of talent that you've gone against. They don't understand whether or not you really want to be a college football player or whether or not you just want to be blessed to receive. That's it. Because nowadays, everything is in the show. A kid gets an offer from a D3 school tells a kid, hey, we want you to come play football for us. The kid will post on their socials, hey, blessed to receive an offer from. They know they have no desire to go to that Division III school whatsoever, but they want the congratulations that comes with it. Some of the places that offer these kids that are lower level can't afford to pay for these kids to come to college. And they know in their heart of hearts that kid can't afford to go to that college. But they put that offer out there, and that kid, hey, thank you. And then before you know it, blessed to receive. Blessed to receive. That's what we hear all the time. Blessed to receive. Meanwhile, the colleges that used to come in the 10th, 11th, and 12th hour to scoop up that talent that had fallen through the cracks, that's no longer going to exist, ladies and gentlemen. Those people are going to the transfer portal. If they want talent, they are going to the transfer portal to find that talent. They are not going to sit back and wait for you. So now the game has changed for these young high school players. You have to cultivate opportunities, and you have to make sure that your academics are good enough that if you want to go to a Division I school, you don't need to worry about a scholarship to do so, a football scholarship to do so. You can go there on the merits of your academics, because now what you need to do is you need to go to college. You need to put that college film together. And then if you want to attack XYZ University, you do it via the transfer portal. Or you do something novel. You find a school that you love regardless of the football, and if the football doesn't work out, oh well. Not everybody can go to the NFL. You can all have the dream of the NFL. You can all have the dream of the NBA. You can all have the dream of the WNBA. You can all have the dream of Major League Soccer, but not everybody can do it. It's okay if that comes to an end with a college degree. Here's my tried and true way of doing this thing for you recruits. Find a school that you love. Become academically inclined. Set yourself on a 3-year program to get your bachelor's degree. After your 3rd year with a bachelor's degree in hand, make the decision at that point if you want to transfer. You'll be able to transfer with 2 years to play 2, right? Or with 1 year of eligibility if you played all 3 years in college. That's the way to transfer. Transfer and then make the next college pay for your master's degree. You can no longer think about this thing from an academic standpoint. Now you have to think about it from a money standpoint. How much money can I save in education? Because if you're going to college, then that means you're going there for education, or you're going there for opportunities that come with being in college. And once those opportunities dry up, i.e. the NFL, NBA, whatever, now you've got to turn, here, I might as well take advantage of the academic side. So you go to college, 3 years, get your bachelor's degree. If you've played 3 years, you've got 1 year to rock at another school. Make them pay for your master's degree. If you redshirted your freshman year, which is something I suggest for almost every high school kid coming out, because you after your freshman year is going to look way different than you after your before your freshman year. There's so much growth you do physically and mentally within that first year removed from high school. So you get redshirted, rock for 2 years, get your degree, transfer. You've got 2 years to play, and you get a master's degree. I don't want you guys to get all alarmed about the transfer portal. It's going to affect you, yes. But always remember that if these scholarship athletes are leaving the school, then that means there's another scholarship there. And every year, there's somewhere around 2,500 scholarships or more out there. No reason to panic, but it is reason to tell you that you have to have your game ready to go from the beginning. It's a cold world out there. Welcome to the Portal Wars. Ladies and gentlemen, that's been Talk Spicy. I'm Coach Gene Clemens. We do this thing a few times a week. Rate the show, comment, agree, disagree, but whatever you do, keep it spicy. 5-star ratings are appreciated. If you're joining me on the YouTube channel, like, subscribe, leave a comment. We'll see you on Monday. Peace.